What's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Traxy Demon Queen. And we're a little late with our guide today. That's because we were testing a last-minute best comp. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Now, Thalassa is the latest boss to hit Dream Realm. You probably recognize her from Ravage Realm. However, we're going to note that there's going to be one big change on this boss, and it's going to be significant when you compose and run your comps, is that melee does not work on this boss, right? We can only use ranged heroes. We're going to see that in action with the twins, because one of the twins is a melee hero, but everyone else is ranged. What happens is our melee heroes, they can't hit the boss. They simply don't have the range to attack her. So it's not worth running them. So any of your melee comps that you may be thinking are good here, toss them out the window. Ranged heroes only. Right, so let's take a look at the common 2 clears first, because that's where you may be struggling to get to hard mode. So as you can see, we're running a Coco, a Smokey, the twins, Odie, and a Thalassa. We have the charm sets on the twins and Odie. Now this is based on something I ran on Pioneer, and I just ran it with Overcharged, but we're going to change things up a little bit for the number 1 squad. So we're going to run a Lila in the front this time, Elijah in the back, a Thalassa, Odie, Smokey, and a Coco. Alternatively, you could run a different squad, so we'll just get another attempt here so we can set up the squad. That's a pretty good as well and may get you your clear. So we can run Star Shard for the extra damage if you need it. It's probably going to be a little bit better than Overcharged, or you can try it with Overcharged. So those are 2 options you can run here. We're just going to run a Coco and a Smokey. And the reason why we're running Smokey on a pre-endless boss here is just because we need his heals to keep everyone alive, right? So this should get you through Common 2 as well. It might be a little bit more accessible, especially if you don't have the twins and you don't have the twins charm set. Again, this boss is going to pump on AoE, so survivability here is an issue, and we'll see that in the number 1 squad and some squads I tested, right? So here we go. This is the current number 1. As you can see, I did a pretty decent parse with Overcharged, however, switched to Star Shard, and then boom, we get about an 80 million increase, which is huge. Alright, so we're kind of running the other one. We run this. Now, the key here is Rainer with his charm set. If you don't have, say, a Rainer charm set and you have Hugin's charm set, you can run Hugin over Rainer. It's just that your Rainer is going to be the better option, especially if you have the charm set. Even my Overcharged version gets a higher score than what was the highest recorded with the Hugin version. Now, if we look at here, we have a Lila in the front, Smokey here now in the line. In my common 2 comp, it's actually better to put Odie here and Smokey here, and then a Thalassa in this spot. And then we run Coco. You'll notice no Makola here. Again, she's a melee hero. We can't get her field, so it's just not a viable hero on this fight. No Harax, no Sonias, no Lenyas, no Sinbads, so they just aren't viable. I like this change. It's nice to have a boss mechanics to work around and have to tool the squads to deal with the boss mechanics, rather than running the same 5 heroes on, 5 out of 8 of the bosses, and then the other, same heroes on the other 3 out of the 8 bosses, right? It kind of gets stale. This thing kind of keeps fresh. We have to deal with boss mechanics. I like that. So that's the number 1 squad. So let's see it in action, and we'll talk about some mechanics, and then we'll go over some alternatives. Alright, so you can see Lila over here. I know it's a little hard because we're zoomed out very, very far, because the boss is very, very large and in charge. But as you can see, Lila's a melee hero. She's not really doing anything. She's just kind of sitting here because, again, we can't hit with melee heroes. So we're heavily reliant on Odie. And if you saw the damage logs, Odie's damage is a redunculous on this boss fight. And again, we need... Now you're thinking, oh, well, Mimi, I could just get away with running a Rainer and smoking. I tried that, so I could stick Mimi Abani in there, who's also good for range, gives the debuff, would help out, and in theory, increase the damage. However, without the additional support unit in a Coco, we don't have the survivability to last on this fight. Now, that's just a product of going from comment 2 to hard, and the current level cap that we have, the soft cap is a 401. It is very, very difficult to get to the higher caps. So we'll talk about that further in a minute, but let's take a look at this damage, right? So you can see his damage here is significant, right? He does a little bit less damage here than when he does with Overcharge. It says that Star Shards damage with the twins popping off gives us the extra damage, right? So if we take a look, say, at our highest parse with Overcharge, right, Odie's gonna do 100 million more damage, but the Star Shard spell with all the ults going off is going to make up that difference and then give us some extra cheddar on top. So let's take a look at some additional bossing comps that you can run without the twins. Most everything has the twins that you are going to run. So I'm going to throw out there a non-twins comp that you may be able to run that will be decent for you. So we get Thorin here. And then we get a Lily here. Right, this is the only real option that I've seen that doesn't use the twins. Otherwise, you could run your common. Basically, what we could probably even sub in a Rainer here for Thorin, and this will be fine too. Just because we want the debuff. This is probably your better option. Again, if you have, say, a Hugin charm set, over a Rainer charm set, you could sub in your Hugin if you can ever find him, right? And so we could just put him in here. He would buff Odie, and then do some shields, and then, like I said, if he has his charm buff, he'll give him the same set bonus that Rainer gives him. So those are some options you have there. But let's talk about the caps, right? So yesterday was the first day. We hit the soft cap. Today we hit the soft cap again. It's going to be very difficult to get these extra levels beyond the soft cap just because of the changes they did with stages, right? I didn't even have one that was a 10 over to give me that extra level, right? We would have needed a 411. I didn't get that after reset. So I'm going to change the way I level, right? So we're going to go for our boss killer, definitely to that max cap first. But during the day, we'll probably just kind of like level the rest of these evenly. That'll give us a good boost to Dream Realm and for stage pushing. Not that stage pushing is important to me, or if you are far, far ahead, like right here, where we're 4 days ahead, it's not going to be a huge deal. So that's it for Thalassa and some Dream Realm stuff. I wish you good luck. Get your charm sets, get your high parse, and remember, always run more towards the end of the day just so you can have those extra levels on your other heroes and spike your damage just a little bit more. And that's it for this one. Bye!